What's up, everybody? It's White Boy Lockdown Radio. We're back with another one. Hey, man, listen, I wanted to get on here and just talk it up with everybody. You know what I mean? On the thumbnail, that picture for everybody that follows me on Instagram, you guys already know, but it's a black dude that I grew up with, man. He happens to be a blood. He was gonna come on the channel and talk about a lot of his prison stories. You know what I mean? And also we were locked up. It sucks that he can't come on and talk about this stuff. But you know, besides being in jail with him, and I grew up with that dude. We did a lot of business and stuff like that, and then we went our separate ways. You know, he ended up going to a party at a young age, and he was with he was with his other blood members, whatever, and they got into some type of beef. And as the car was pulling away, he shot. In Florida they have 10, 20 life. 10 if you pull it, 20 if you shoot it, and life if you hit somebody, or if you know what I mean, or if you kill somebody. He ended up going to Brevard Jit Camp, which was notorious, probably the worst jit camp in the state of Florida. They have since shut it down. But I remember it was he was gone sometime, a couple years after he caught that case, and he was back on appeal. And this is where I saw him again. Keep in mind we grew up together. Went our different ways, but it was in the county when I seen him again, and he was telling me some horror stories from Brevard. Now, this is when I was a lot younger. This is one of my first times going to jail, and in fact, I was heading to prison for the first time here. And this is when this is when I got to hear prison stories for the first time, and holy shit, I did not want to go to where he was coming back on appeal from. He ended up giving some time back, but it was different having him in the dorm with me at the time for jail. He was lacing me up, But I always say it on this channel, jail and prison are totally different, man. This dude has recently gone back in, man. He got in trouble. He got caught with yet another gun, and which is possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. It doesn't matter if you have Johnny Cochran. It don't matter if you got what. It doesn't matter what type of lawyer you have. The best in the world. You're gonna have to do some time on that. It's just what it is. When you're a felon, there's no excuse. You have no right. So there's really nothing you could say, especially if you're caught dead to the wrong. It sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks. I feel bad. Again, this is somebody that I grew up with. You know what I mean? As you can see, we were hanging out in the thumbnail. We're hanging out tough. It just sucks, man. A lot of people take for granted out here, man. How easy people. It's not easy, man. People think that there's a recipe, man. A big misconception about people coming home is there's this big drawn out blueprint for your life. I never thought I would have a house. I have to get up and work. I have to be like every citizen. Something had to change. I had to change, so I wouldn't go back and be doing time again. Sure, I've done time a lot of time, but at some point you have to change something up here, so you don't continue the cycle. And look, one of my buddies fell victim to it, and so he's on his way back to prison. I'll do what I can for some canteen money. There's no point for anybody to bond out on that because you're gonna have to go back in. But beyond all that, I wanted to just say a quick thing. Two things about my boy. Now, the first thing I want to say is on my channel, man, I talk a lot about. I've told a bunch of stories about how I've gone through it with bloods. Okay, now I've gone through it with bloods. I've got a couple stories where I fought a blood, a couple in H-Dorm, one when I made the thing curl in the mop bucket. There's a whole bunch of stories. Me and JD, you know, there's a lot of stories on my channel, okay, but they all involve different gang members. But it's people email me a lot and say, man, damn, what's up with the bloods? You're always saying blood, 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 okay? Because hey, look, there's a lot of bloods in the Florida State prisons, but you know, a lot of those instances that I have gone through, that I was in, would not have happened if, say, that dude was at the camp. Okay, now I say that I say that because, you know, I'm talking about, you know, maybe catching the wall, okay, and fighting somebody. If my buddy from the streets that I grew up with, you know, if he could have diffused the situation, okay, to where I didn't have to fight. Personally, I don't care. It's nothing but a little bit of a grid, you know, no harm. But you never know what can happen catching that wall. You never know if someone's going to take a lock out, take a knife out. You never know what's going to happen. So diffusing the situation and using communication is always going to be the better option. But so, you know, he could have diffused it. But, you know, the next thing I wanted to say is, you know, thank God he was never in prison with me. You know, I was in jail with him for a little bit, but it's a total different element. If I was in prison with Marty and, you know, he, and on either one of those bits, and a riot popped off, and it was with the Bloods and, you know, some of the Aryan boys, or it was the Bloods and these boys, you know, we would have to go head to head. You know, it'd be him or it'd be me. You know, it would be him or me. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, it's just crazy, man. It's definitely crazy. People don't get that aspect. They watch this channel, quick to call me a racist, and then I really mess their heads up when something like that is on my Instagram. But that's just the world, man. People watch these prison channels and they just don't understand it. They don't understand how it is inside. They don't understand the difference. You can't have some soccer mom with pink or neon blue hair, you know, mad that Abraham Lincoln, or, you know, one of these stupid Twitter moms. She cannot label somebody racist, or click on my show and say, hey, that guy's racist. These type of people have not a clue what that type of tension is. These type of people have no clue how to live like that. These type of people could never look at somebody they grew up with, one of their friends, and say it's either me or you. And sometimes in prison, you gotta make that decision. You gotta make those choices. You know what I mean? It's a crazy world in there. You know, I salute everybody who in the prison genre, who's out doing YouTube, or even if you're out watching the prison genre and you don't go back. You know, staying out is winning. When you get locked up, you get reoffended, and you go behind that wall, you are losing on every aspect of life. You are losing on every aspect of life. You know, I'm making this video, it's Sunday. My biggest worries is I have to worry about when's the last beer I get to drink, because I have to get enough sleep, and I have to bitch about and moan about going to work. That's it for me. For my buddy, he's hungry. He's got to worry about making a knife. He's got to worry about if he's going to lose family members behind prison. He's got to worry about how many years he's got to cross off the calendar. He's got to worry about a lot more shit than I do. And for what? He should have learned a lesson. Yeah, it's my buddy. Yeah, I've known him my whole life. But hey, look, you have to learn. You have to learn. You have to switch it up. Appreciate everybody rocking with the channel. I appreciate all the new subs that have came over. Check the description for all the social stuff, man. And like I always say, stay safe, stay out, and stay solid. Until the next one.